Good morning. Michael here. It's really pleasurable reading the Word, and particularly pleasurable for those who might enjoy hearing the Word. And so, I read the Word with most time great delight and joy as I feed my spirit on the essence of godliness. And today again, we're looking at Isaiah 66 with commentary focusing on verse 18 to 21, utilizing the enduring word commentary. And it's subtitled here, The Lord Gathers and Restores His People, and reads, For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall be that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. I will set a sign among them, and those among them who escape I will send to the nations, to Tarshish and Pul and Lud, who draw the bow, and Tabal and Javan, to the coastlands afar off, who have not heard my fame nor seen my glory. And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. Then they shall bring all your brethren for an offering to the Lord out of all nations, on horses and in chariots and in litters, on mules and on camels, to my holy mountain, Jerusalem, says the Lord. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord, I will also take some of them for priests and Levites, says the Lord. I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. This is from part A of the commentary. God has promised a great regathering among... Let's read that again. Section A. I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. God has promised a great regathering work among Israel, but He will also do a regathering work among the whole world, some from all nations and tongues, to see His glory. 1. One place this finds ultimate fulfillment is around the throne of God. Revelations 5, verse 9 and 10. God says He will set a sign among the nations. The sign is the same as the sign of the Son of Man. Matthew 24:30. B. Those among them who escape I will send to the nations, to the coastlands afar off, who have not heard my fame nor seen my glory. Isaiah makes prophetic reference to the missionary calling and work of God's people. Of course, God had a missionary intent for Israel, that they would be a priesthood among the nations, Exodus 19:6, and a light to the Gentiles. But even more pointedly, God has commanded the church to the nations to declare my glory among the Gentiles. Aye. They are sent to Tarshish, which might be Spain, France, and Italy, to Pul, a region in Africa, and to Lud, which according to some is the same as Libya, though it seems preferable to take Pul and Lud together for all of Africa. Tubal was the son of Japhet, whose descendants settled to the northeastern Europe or Russia, and Javan is the biblical name for Greece. 2. In a limited sense, this is fulfilled by the missionary outreach of the church through centuries, but this is only a partial fulfillment. Ultimately, there may be the 144,000 witnesses during the Great Tribulation. They may be Jewish evangelists in the days of the millennial earth. C. Then they shall bring all your brethren for an offering to the Lord out of all nations. As part of God's ultimate work, as the missionaries go out, the people of Israel ultimately come back in a magnificent regathering. This is partially fulfilled now in Israel's regathered state, but will be ultimately fulfilled in the millennial earth of the Messiah. Many years ago, there was a remarkable example of modern-day regathering from the Arab 7 news agency in Israel. 37 members of the Bnai Manasseh tribe in India, believed to be descendants of the 10 lost tribes, arrived in Israel on Friday. The new arrival, many of whom have relatives in Israel, among the 450 Bnai Manasseh who have arrived within the last 5 years, were brought to Israel under the auspices of the Jerusalem-based Amishav organization. Amishav is dedicated to locating descendants of the lost tribes and returning them to the Jewish people. This is a historic moment for the Jewish people, said Amishav founder and chairman Rabbi Eliyahu Archibald, who has devoted his life to finding and assisting the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. After a lengthy and difficult separation, Bnai Manasseh are being reunited with the Jewish people in the land of Israel. This is a triumph of faith. Their return to Zion marks the closing of a historical circle. The Bnai Manasseh, which is a rich oral tradition tracing themselves back to the Israelite tribe of Manasseh, continue to practice many uniquely Jewish customs. About 3,500 Bnai Manasseh decided to formally return to the Jewish people after 30 years ago and began living a fully Jewish life to the best of their abilities in accordance with the Jewish life. Rabbi Avichali learned of their existence about 20 years ago and began to investigate their claims to Jewish ancestry. After making several visits there and carefully studying their claims and the relevant history, Rabbi Achival consulted with leading rabbinical authorities and concluded that there is convincing evidence linking the Bnai Manasseh with the Jewish people. Among the evidence, Rabbi Achival notes their ancient traditions speaking of the patriarch Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Their custom of circumcising male children on the 8th day after birth, and their sacrificial ceremony on an altar reminiscent of the Jewish temple, in which the Hebrew biblical name of God, Mount Sinai, Mount Moriah, and Mount Zion are mentioned. D. I will take some of them for priests and Levites. The idea is that in that day, God will extend the priesthood beyond its previous boundaries. This is ultimately fulfilled in the church because saints are called priests. 1 Peter 2:5-9, Revelation 1:6-5-10, and 26. Just as in Isaiah's day, only some were priests and Levites, but through them Israel was constituted as the Lord's priestly people. So now, he foresees Gentiles incorporated on equal terms into equal privileges. Yow. I have tried to read Isaiah as a full Bible, full book, and found it particularly difficult. And looking here at Isaiah 66, you can imagine how challenging that can be. And a little bit of a commentary does help to sometimes get a better feel of what Isaiah is saying, because not all things are that well clear in Isaiah. So in any event, trust you might have enjoyed some of this commentary. I do encourage you to look at Isaiah 66. And with the commentary, you might be able to get a better handle of it. Well, Michael here declaring, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, enough love.